So you want to create an amazing art piece. So you find a nice setting just like this. You take out your canvas, you cover it, you slather it up in that gesso. It's looking all nice and dandy. You take your titanium white out with all your other colors and you start painting away. You're just beating the devil out of it. You know the whole deal. So you're painting this amazing scene, but there's one unfortunate thing is that once you get to the edges of the canvas, that's about all you could do. You know, you can't capture everything that you see. You can only go so far. But what if I told you that you don't need this anymore? This is old technology. You don't need that. Because I found an amazing new technology. It's called Whoa. Yeah, it's just this app called Endless Paper. Alright, so let's actually get into the video here and give you more of an explanation of this new technology that I found. So basically, this is my Endless Paper world. I started right here, actually. This is like the work in progress section, as you could tell. You know, obviously I put that and, you know, maybe a couple other things that I snuck in there. And then as you continue to zoom out, you know, I decided to make the city, and pretty much that's how I drew, is I drew and then zoom out more, draw, zoom out more, and that's kind of just the way that I work for the most part. Recently, I've been trying to do the other method where I draw and zoom in. That's also a pretty interesting method. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, like, how much time has this taken me? It's taken me about 100 hours over the course of the last year, which is honestly not too much. I've done a lot in 100 hours. I'm a pretty speedy drawer, but yeah, you'd be kind of surprised of how big this world is for only doing 100 hours, to be honest. And other people ask, like, what tools do I use? As you can see here on the left-hand side, there's like a pen, marker tool, and all this stuff. When I first started, I only used this pen tool here, and yeah. And now I use a lot more like markers and more color. But, you know, I started out black and white because, you know, my work, I started out doing black and white pen and ink work. Now I do a lot more paintings and stuff, but I kind of wanted to go back to my usual pen and ink style because I'd been doing so many paintings at that time. But yeah, pretty cool. As you can see, it as it continues to zoom out, you know, there's more stuff to see. I just love the perspective shift of like how it's small it looks here because you're looking at like an outlet on the wall. And then you zoom out more and then like it becomes like this bigger world, and your perspective is shifting from like looking at something up close to looking at something very far away. And I think that like weird just seamless transition from like a far away to close up really trips people out, and I think that's really the special thing with Endless Paper. But yeah, let's get to the next part here before I spoil a bit too much of the other worlds that I've made. But yeah, it goes out pretty much as far as here, like where the entire galaxy is. As you could tell, you know, I kind of just decided, let's go and draw the entire world and the solar system and all that stuff. But I've done a lot more, so let's get to the next part, which is actually right here, tucked away in this computer screen. Maybe you saw earlier, you could see just the random yellow, the first little color that you probably saw. So yeah, let's dig into this section. Alright, so now this is the digital world that I created. This is actually a commission that I received from a company that wanted me to promote their tablet, but the whole thing was basically just me sharing my experience falling in love with digital art and just how I grew up making art, and then how I, you know, came to, you know, work on tablets and stuff now. So that's what I did, and I kind of started out, you know, talking about my childhood, how I was super inspired by just nature and I had a wild imagination, and how that led me into getting into comic books and stuff when I got older because, you know, I just loved comics and they were a really big inspiration for me growing up in terms of just drawing and stuff. So here's me looking at some comics. I just kind of made up some characters as I went. And then here's me at home practicing, you know, practicing eyeballs, nature, a lot of anatomy practice, as you could see. And then if you go here on the window, this actually goes to the next scene where I kind of talk about how when I went into high school, I started to really branch out in terms of style, and I found a lot of different things, started to get a lot more abstract. And, you know, I have little Easter eggs, just like this little spiral guy right here. It says, "We meet again." That's actually the first time that we've met him, because there's actually another one deeper in here, as, you know, I kind of continue my story talking about, you know, how once I started drawing in a lot more different mediums and stuff, and I got more used to that, something clicked in my brain, and it just felt like the possibilities were endless. And ever since then, I've not really ran out of ideas. So yeah, there's kind of just me after high school here, just drawing away. If you guys are familiar with my work, you know that I go crazy with the drawing stuff, and I kind of just wanted to display that in a way that I haven't been able to before, with this whole kind of like new storytelling technique that you could use with Endless Paper. And then right here is the last bit where I talk about how I kind of came to liking digital art, and as you can see here, I included the new tablet. Really cool company. Love the team that I worked with. Shout out to TCL for all that. You should definitely check out their new tablet. But yeah, this was a pretty cool world here. And oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys, because, you know, we found this little guy here in the spiral, because he's kind of hidden all throughout my Endless Paper world. If we could go into here really quick, and you go into this little spiral here, and there he is again. Hello, welcome to the end. I thought he was pretty cool. But then, you know, there's also another question that kind of relates to digital art and stuff that a lot of people ask, which is like, how does this never like lose quality? Like, how come as far as I zoom in, it never like gets blurry or pixelated? And that's because this program doesn't use pixels. It uses a thing that graphic designers use called vector artwork. Now, vector artwork, I can't completely explain it. It's like a mix of math and magic in my head, but to kind of give you guys an explanation, kind of like for dummies, you know, vector art for dummies, maybe. So basically, vector art is pretty much what graphic designers use so they can make a logo, and they could blow it up to the size of a billboard or have it as small as a penny, and it could just retain the quality all, you know, no matter what the size is. And I think that's why that the tools are very limited on this app, because with vector artwork and how all that stuff works, it's very different from like your average Procreate thing that uses pixels. So I think it's kind of harder to like figure out different features and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. And yeah, let's get on to the next part of this world. Actually, before we move on to the next segment, I forgot to mention something. Now, there are other artists that use Endless Paper, and there's actually a way to put pixel images within the Endless Paper world, and you guys might have already seen it if you didn't notice. Actually, when I was talking about how this program only uses vector, I was actually showing an image that I'd put in that is made of pixels, because this was an actual painting that I did that I then took a picture of and then I put into this Endless Paper world. And now some of you guys may have seen the infinite zoom art before, or maybe have seen Endless Paper, and you would probably notice on mine compared to theirs is that theirs has a lot more depth to it, and it seems to be a lot more detailed. And I think the reasoning behind that is because a lot of them actually use pixel images that they put in. A lot of them will draw beforehand in Procreate, or maybe some of them I've seen where they just literally take Google Images and they put it on there, and they just kind of create a hole right here. This is kind of what I did, is I like erased around the image and then drew within it. Oh, you know, I know some other Endless Paper artists that use this app the same way I do, which is mainly just drawing within the actual app. And some of us, you know, maybe this is a little bit of a controversial opinion. Some of us are like, we see those videos and we're like, it's not like I hate the artists or anything. You know, they make really cool work, and they're very talented. And some of them have some of the coolest Endless Paper worlds, but part of me is like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, this app is a very difficult app, surprisingly, to draw in compared to Procreate or like actual pen and paper. Like your control, it's kind of hard to explain. I think it's because it's vector lines instead of pixels. It's almost like too exact to like every slight little movement. This drawing, if you even have like a slight mess up with your line, it's gonna show like that little wonkiness within the actual vector points. And I think that makes people's drawings look a lot worse than they actually do. And that's why, you know, I have to do a lot of shading, and my drawings end up coming out a lot more different because I work within the app compared to working in Procreate and then bringing it in later. However, I don't have anything against those artists, but it is something that I thought I would point out. And also, it's a feature on Endless Papers, and that was actually the perfect time there to show you guys, and I just completely forgot. But anyways, let's move on to the next segment, because I know you guys are waiting to see more of the world. Alright, so the next part of the Endless Paper world actually takes us out a little bit further than what we've seen so far. And you know what's interesting is that, you know, I've made many videos of this for like YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok and all that. And every time that I've, you know, talked about it, you know, usually it's something a little bit deep and meaningful, talking about, you know, it's like, you know, you got the world and the entire universe, and, you know, at the end you kind of almost feel like, you know, you're just like an ant hanging out in a pebble floating in space. And then it zooms out to here, and it's Shrek all of a sudden. It's Shrek in a Windows desktop background that's actually a painting in a museum from 2048 with a lot of other like portals and things that I've made. And you know what's interesting is that a lot of people actually seem to be a bit upset whenever I show and reveal that it's Shrek. I don't know why. I think it's because, like, you know, it's this like very serious artsy perspective thing, and then all of a sudden it becomes very silly. But like, what? What do you mean silly? Like, this is, I don't know. To me, it's like, why does everything have to be serious? Well, why are people so serious all the time? Sometimes you just need a little break, you know? I don't like tension in that stuff. I mean, it's fun and all that, but like, you know, I mean, me, I'm just a silly little guy, you know? I don't, it doesn't matter too much for me. I mean, as serious and as deep as I could get with art pieces, sometimes you got to have a little bit more fun and expand it in a different way that you're not used to. And that's, what Endless Paper is all about. I kind of treat this like my sketchbook that where I could just doodle and doodle. This is kind of like a school worksheet for me in the sense of how my mindset is when I approach this piece. I'm not trying to make this serious masterpiece that's super crazy, but maybe during the process I will make something of that nature. But anyways, the next part actually takes us right in here. As you can see, I'm zooming in instead of out for the first time because this was the first time I've ever tried this method of drawing and zooming in instead of the other way. Now, there are plenty of Easter eggs, but right here I've made this little micro universe of all these different worlds and things. I mean, you have certain characters in here, and as you can see, there's a name, Victoria, and a lot of these orbs actually have a lot of different names. This one right here is Michelle, and this is actually because every time it's like a Black Friday season, which is end of November. As you guys know, I'm a full-time artist, and we have a crazy website with a bunch of apparel prints and stuff that we all do in house and ship out to you guys with free stickers. And whenever I do these live streams for Black Friday as like a little promotional thing, if you buy something while I'm on stream, I will I'll figure out your order number and then I'll draw whatever you want. And so that's what all these different worlds are. So our lead wanted a trippy forest, and then someone named Reese wanted a trippy mushroom. So I kind of combined the two. And some of these worlds actually kind of go a bit far. I won't be able to show every single one of them today because there are quite a few. But as you can see, this one was metamorphosis was the concept. And yeah, so that's how I ended up tackling that. But other ones, they're just like simple story times. This planet right here has a whole bunch of different requests in here, just like all in one planet. I thought that'd be pretty cool to add even a fire-breathing husky. I completely forgot about that one. Oh, and then we even have this like dinosaur eating a pizza on a throne. Whole bunch of stuff. One of my favorite ones has to be this little competition I did with Jake Wolven, who is another... Oh, I completely forgot about this. But Jake Wolven is another Endless Paper artist, a good friend of mine, and we did a competition on a live stream where we both spent 10 minutes seeing how far we could get with like a Endless Paper drawing. So, I started with this orb, and I was able to go all the way into here during my 10 minutes working with Endless Paper and just pretty much speed drawing the whole time. And yeah, there we go. And it goes all the way out. But yeah, there's a million different things here, and people request me to draw characters that I've never drawn before. For example, I've never seen Alice in Wonderland, so this is my version of the Mad Hatter. Take that as you will. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff, I think. Pretty interesting stuff. That's a lot of worlds, so... And that kind of brings us to the very, very last segment. Alrighty, so this is the last segment of my Endless Paper world that I've yet to show, besides the Easter eggs, which we'll go over last. So as you can see here, this is an unfinished scene because this is as far out as this world goes. Now, what I was trying to depict here is I'm trying to depict war throughout the ages. So I want to start like way far out, and it's going to be like caveman beating each other with clubs. And then as you keep zooming in, like the warfare gets more and more advanced until we get to modern day. So right now I'm at like Napoleon. I don't know, I think I might call it quits on this world because I've spent a year, and I think it'd be cool to kind of start a new one, and I will be starting a new one shortly, actually, with it's going to be a collaboration with Jake Wolven, so I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, as you can see here, we have Napoleon, and he's going to be looking over this whole battle. So maybe I'll finish this scene, and then we'll call it good for the whole world here before I kind of release maybe like a downloadable version or something for you guys. And then if you zoom in here, you got like the Civil War era. As you can see, you got like muskets and stuff hiding, like some guerrilla warfare type stuff over here. Maybe, I don't know, this is just like Revolutionary War with like the Minutemen or what? I don't know. I'm more of a World War II history buff than than one of these Civil War reenactors. That's more my style, personally. And that's why you got all this stuff here. And then, we had to call them the big unit, of course. And, we got explosions and everything going on here. And then you zoom in here, and this is like a whole different storyline here after you zoom into the moon. So this is something that I worked on for a while. It's still really not finished, but it's pretty much all there. So I'll walk you guys through it. So as you can see here, here's like a moon child, I guess, some kind of golden fetus. And then you keep on going, and now it's a baby. And then the baby grows into a toddler that's enjoying time with his mom and dad. And then the toddler, all of a sudden, now he's going to school. He's waiting for the school bus. He has his nice red backpack and everything. And also don't forget to check out the shop if you want to support my artwork in any way. Link in bio. And then you go into here, and now, a decade later, he's proposing to his future wife. I even hit a little Steve in here mining diamonds in the actual diamond. And then you go into here, and now they're happily married. You got the cans or whatever, classic American wedding. Woo! Woo! we could beat the divorce rate, haha. And then you go into here, and now it's been a couple of decades, and now world's best dad. Yep, now he's a father. Can you believe it? Now, something that I forgot to mention is that this app was actually intended for students, not for artists. So I actually used it when I was trying to learn Japanese. I know, typical weeb move. I know. I like anime. I get it. I learned my lesson that there's probably no way unless I move to Japan and immerse myself. I've way too much going on in my life. All right, but, as much as I could romanticize, learning Japanese and being that cool, I think it is cool, though, that it was made for students originally to take notes and all this stuff, and then artists found, were like, wait a second, this is an infinite sketchbook, basically, and I don't know, from there, the ideas are endless, and now the guy is retired, though, so, we went from graduation to retirement to, oh my gosh, he's enjoying time after his retirement, going fishing and stuff and everything, he's looking out the porch, reminiscing on the old days, and then he's dead. But, besides that, we have other things going on. Like this guy here, now he's crying to this therapist, and this therapist is just drawn Garfield and Lasagna or whatever. And you go into here, and then you have, pretty much right where we left off. If you go into this balloon here, that's, there's me, age 8. This is like, my 8-year-old style drawing. And then that brings us right back into the little micro universe that I was talking about. Now, I did mention that there's Easter eggs, and I can't fit them all in this video. I mean, for a couple here, it's like, we have this toilet right here. I don't know. We got so many little worlds within here, so it's like good luck trying to find all of them. I mean, it includes you guys and me. Because I honestly, like, people ask if I lose worlds, and I really don't, except for the little Easter eggs, because they're so small, and I spend so little time on them where I kind of forget from time to time, because the more time I spend on something, the more likely I am to remember it. So that's why I remember, like, where all the main routes are, but then there's things like this here, where it's like, you're looking like a snack, baby. I know, my name is Donald Trump. Buddies of mine have been telling me I look like a snack for millions of years, billions and millions, in fact, and I don't know, just whatever. But I think right in here is kind of where we have a lot of more interesting Easter eggs. I think I showed you guys the Voyager spacecraft beforehand, and some of these moons have been claimed by other people from previous streams. And then I think if you go into here, and then there's a couple different ones. Well, first we have, if you see the keyboard, and then you see the mouse here, and then you see the mouse on the mouse, and then you see the mouse on that mouse, and the mouse on that mouse, and it just keeps on going further and further, and there's about like 30 different mice. And you know what? When I release this for download, you guys could explore that, and maybe see the secret furry that I drew, that I'll never draw again. And then if you go into here, and you have this like little mouse hole in this picture frame, and it goes all the way to this thing, I kind of read it in the SpongeBob voice, I like the all alone, or what was it? It's like 1 hour later, but like all alone. And then you go into one of these. I think, is it this one? Yep, this one has like a secret bird, and then you go in the eye of the bird, and there's like a secret little river with a fish. And that's about as far as that Easter egg goes. But there's a couple other ones in here. I forgot if I showed them earlier or not, but if you look in here, can you spot the deer? Do you have 20/20 vision? Yeah, I didn't think so. You guys are watching YouTube. Y'all are probably nerds, probably need glasses, right? Probably didn't even notice this deer because you don't have 20/20 vision. But yeah, if you zoom into the deer, though, and you go in here, there's like, Michigan, where I'm recording this right now, and a bunch of other stuff. And then also, can you spot the UFO in this scene? Yeah, I didn't think you could either, because obviously you don't have 20/20 vision. It was right above this cloud, silly. Yeah, and there's a guy, he stole a UFO, and then you go into here, and there's a plane, and then you go into there, and there's like another jet just minding his own business with like a Donald Trump American Dad kind of mix collab over there. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up for this whole video. So thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed making this, and maybe I'll do another Endless Paper video update soon with the new worlds and other things, and I'd be more than happy to answer you guys' questions regarding this. Maybe I'll do a live Q&A or something at some point. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye. You take out your canvas, you cover it, you slather it up in that gesso.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. case I don't see you, good afternoon,